Hey folks, welcome back to another PoMa video. So today let's do Moltres again, and this time just for folks who are struggling, right? Run some, free-to-play units to see how it goes. So Moltres is there's a few things we do have to make sure that you take care of, or I guess I think helps, right? And we talked about the first one before in my first video when we're doing Moltres, which is take away this guy's sun, man. Like, this guy just gets so much stuff. Like, he healed in sun, there's burn in sun, he powers up his moves and sun. Like, just get rid of the guy's burns, or not burns, well, also get rid of the burns, but get rid of the sun, right? Whether you want to put up rain, sandstorm, hail, even, just take away the sun. All right, it's gonna make your life so much easier. And another thing about Moltres is, the great thing about Moltres is, and this is why I do like Acerola over like a lot of the weather options. I mean, well, we don't have that many weather options free to play wise, right, outside of sun. We have what, Pelipper, Blastoise, what else? Tech Blastoise, right? Pelipper, Tech Blastoise, Abomasnow, Kabutops, Palossand. Is that it? Anyways, regardless, in terms of like the free play option, I do think Acerola is the best one for multiple reasons. First of all, you have MP refresh on the Sandstorm, right? Which is, I would say, pretty key. You would want at least one MP refresh for the Sandstorm, right? Even though like technically the Sandstorm stays on forever, but every time it goes down to either in the second, third bar half HP or straight up full bar down, they're gonna set up Sandstorm again. Not Sandstorm, they're going to set up Sun again, so you want a Sandstorm again. So I'd say, ideally, I'd say 2 MP refreshes for Sandstorm uses would be the best. Well, technically best would be, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Technically the best would be 5 Sandstorms, but that's slightly unrealistic. But I'd say 3 Sandstorms should be enough, right? So just 1 MP refresh. So you do want to pick up the MP refresh, which again, I think works very, very well with Acerola. The other thing that works very well is this guy doesn't get like immune to flinches, so you could just spam flinch for the whole time and then you're good. Like this guy is very, very weak to flinch, extremely weak to flinch. So that's another great thing about Acerola. Also, Acerola is just overall, it's just better than all the other units, like, or the free to play ones. Obviously, if you have like Kyogre, then yeah, use Kyogre, right? Or if you have like May or whatever. Ice Steven, right? All that stuff. You could use that stuff. But for, again, the free units, I do think Acerola is probably the best one here. If not Acerola, then like Pelipper, I'd say probably would be the next best one, because it also does have a chance to flinch, which is nice, right? So there's that. So we're gonna run Xerneas as our main damage healer and tank and everything else, right? So I do have both massive healers in here, obviously. Move gauge refresh on Hornleech, MP refresh on World is Vast. Not necessary to have, but it keeps Raichu alive longer. And speaking of Raichu, we have Raichu over here, the BP Raichu, which is fantastic because it maxes out Xerneas' crit for 1, right? So we have a 100% chance to crit with Xerneas with Raichu, and we get Xerneas' physical attack buffed up fast, right? Which is also very, very nice. And he does have some survivability himself. I mean, this grid is just my standard Raichu grid. I don't really think you should run this. Like, stuff like Fast Rock doesn't really matter because we're bringing Xerneas. We're going to max out speed anyways. Actually, now that I think, but like, what do we have on the grid? If there's anything else that's like useful or whatever, I guess synchro healing, now that I'm looking at it, would probably be not a bad idea, because again, you just really need to sync with Xerneas like the first time, right? You don't really need it, more than once, although you can if you want, if you're in like a pinch with like move gauges, right? But yeah, anyways, yeah, we could probably build something else with this, but I mean, I've used that, my regular grid, and it works fine. But yeah, you could definitely come up here, pick up sync healing. I think would not be a terrible idea, right? Another thing that won't be a terrible idea would be actually just like picking up his own like sync move power up notes, because again, we will like, because here's the thing, I do think Lieutenant Surge is probably the best option to sync, even though he doesn't do the most. I think Acerola does the most damage, right, in terms of sync move damage, but I think he's probably the best option in my opinion, right? For that, just because I just want to like constantly be like spamming Astonish with Acerola, right? Outside of the Sandstorm turns, obviously, or some X defense turns, which I would say would be pretty valuable to use, you know, beforehand. Obviously, if you don't have Lieutenant Surge Raichu, just throw in any like crit buffer, right? Would be fine, right? A max crit buffer, preferably, right? So stuff like Sabrina, Meganium, maybe. I mean, again, it doesn't really matter who your crit buffer is, as long as you can max out your crit. Like, even like Piers should be fine, honestly, right? Okay, we could do that. I think we could afford a few. Oh, got a Sandstorm MP refresh right off the bat. That's fantastic, right? That's fantastic. So the points where you do want to use Sandstorm is at the beginning of the battle, right? You want to, because the great thing about the first HP gauge from the opponent is, if I remember correctly, it doesn't when it goes past half, it doesn't like set up like Sun again like all the other gauges, or yeah, HP gauges, right? So that gives you a bit more you know, help there without using up like another Sandstorm for the whole bar, right? And it's especially good because, again, your damage to start off is not going to be like super great because you don't have enough like sync bus and stuff, right? So I do think that's great as well. The opponent does have Steel Wing, which is super effective, which could be a bit of an issue early on, but you know, once you start building up, you should be fine. I wouldn't worry too much about that. All right. So, also, Sandstorm dealing solid damage to Moltres, like 1k per hit, which doesn't seem like that much, but then again, you have to remember what situation you're in with your team's like overall damage. Not very great, so any bit counts, right? Which is why I picked that Sync Move power up node with Lieutenant Surge. But again, yeah, you don't need Surge, you just anything that could give you some crit, whether it be, again, Surge, Sabrina, Hilbert, right? 3 out of 5 Hilbert, that is. Although maxing out, obviously maxing out your crit would be really good. I don't think it's necessary, but it's much safer than not maxing out your crit. Because like if you don't max out your crit, it's still like 80% chance to crit, which is not the worst thing in the world, right? So like if you really do not have any max crit units, like okay, you could bring like a Medicham, Torchic, or whatever, right? If you want. Those are fine, I guess. Okay, I think I'd prefer Medicham just for the extra like Drain Punch, right? Sustainability, a bit more damage maybe. All that stuff. If you were to ask me, or although Torchic should be fine too. All right, let's see if we get some like Moonblast damage in. Can I get a flinch? Oh, there we go. Yeah, again, like I mentioned before, Moltres relatively weak to getting flinched, so that's always good, right? When they flinch, we could throw in like a few Moonblasts in here. Hopefully, you get some special attack debuffs as well, right? That would be nice, along with obviously, you know, the damage. All right, the Brave Bird, we got the paralysis in there as well, which is nice from Thunder Punch. So get that in. All right, I'm just gonna keep on. I don't know. It's just a process. It's just. There's just a few key moments of this battle, right? Everything else is just pretty mechanical. The few key moments are when the opponent, when we're about to take out the first gauge, you do have to make sure you keep up that Sandstorm right before, so you guys don't get burned. Your whole team get burned, which isn't like a deal breaker because I did pick up Healing Hand with Zernia, so you could cure it like just in case you screw up there, but obviously you don't want to rely on that because you know if your RNG is not that great, it takes a few turns, your whole team's gonna take, you know, quite a bit of unnecessary damage that you don't, you know, would not have wanted, right? Ah, look at Acerola, man, just poor thing, getting flinched over and over again. Here, we're gonna sync with Raichu again here. Okay, they're past half, so again, Sandstorm doesn't change. They don't set up Sun again on the first HP bar, right? But what they do is they get rid of the status stuff, right? Which is annoying, but not the big deal in the world. Alright, Flame Charge. I mean, I could Horn Leech to heal, but it's not going to do that much damage, so I'm just going to Moonblast instead. Again, hopefully to get more special attack debuffs, which would be nice. But also not super necessary either. Thunder Punch. I'm only just going to swap to Horn Leech if I really need healing, honestly, at this point. Unfortunately, didn't get an MP Refresh on the World is Vast, which is not a big deal, I don't think. Not a huge deal at all. It's just really good to have, but not a deal breaker. They're gonna Heat Wave here. Let me just Horn Leech once. Cause... okay, never mind, that didn't do anything. Okay, so Raichu here got burned, which is why I did pick up Healing Hand on Xerneas, just in case. Alright, so in this scenario, it looks like very, very likely we should be able to KO this first bar here. This is why we're gonna queue up Sandstorm here. Queue up Sandstorm last, right? Queue up the attacking moves first, and then queue up Sandstorm. So then because Moltres comes in, immediately sets up Sun. Sun will be up, right? There's nothing you could do about that. What you can do about it is make sure that the move that it uses, the Heat Wave, does not get boosted by the Sun, does not heal it, does not burn our team, right? Among other things. So that's the key here. So Sandstorm's up, it did nothing, right? It does nothing. We're fine, we're not burned. They're paralyzed again, which is nice. Okay, they're flinched again, which is also nice. And we'll just keep on Moonblasting. Once I get unflinched, I'm gonna take a hit here, then I could go back to Horn Leeching probably. This is slightly risky, but I don't mind that much. Alright. Heat Wave here. Again, another thing to keep in mind is when we're about to go under half the opponent's HP bar, gotta queue up Sandstorm again, right? Don't want to get burned. Getting burned kind of cringe, right? So it might be here, or it might be next turn. I'm thinking next turn. Yep. Looks like it's next turn, thankfully. All right, so we're gonna queue up these moves first, and then we could go Sandstorm. Okay, here's the Sun's back. Fire Blast. Don't want to get hit by a Sun boosted Fire Blast. Personally, I don't know about you guys. I don't like to. I got another MP refresh on that. Again, if you're not super confident in the MP refreshes on the Sandstorm, I would probably not do it here. Sure, we'll let you get a Sand boosted turn, right? Or Sand boosted half of an HP bar, and I'll save that Sandstorm for the last bar because I think that's slightly more important. But I was feeling lucky, so I went with another Sandstorm because I got the first MP refresh early on, right? So again, slightly risky. I don't extremely recommend, but I mean, if you want to do it, again, if you get I'd say, if you get lucky earlier with the MP refresh, then I think it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Anyways, they're gonna try and sync here. That's not going to happen, and then we're gonna Sandstorm again because they're gonna set it up again after this bar. All right, it's pretty methodical, nothing too crazy, right? We're just gonna keep on Horn Leeching, play it safe. All right. Again, with Sandstorm up, it's not gonna do much to us. We're generally fine. All right, sadly that was our last Sandstorm. If we got another one, that would be insane, but it's fine. We're completely fine. They're gonna have a bit of Sun for that last bit of the HP bar, but again, don't have to worry too much. All right, don't have to worry too much. I mean, it's Xerneas. Xerneas could tank through it, okay? And hopefully get, Healing Hand, help the sides get rid of it, maybe. The burn. If not, again, also not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, so what if Acerola and Raichu goes down right now? Okay, it sucks, but we should be fine, right? All right. The Astonished flinches, still very, very, very nice to see. Very nice to see. Especially against something like a Flare Blitz, which would hurt a decent amount. Because, I mean, our physical attack's not crazy. Or not physical attack, physical defense. In comparison to special or whatever. Anyways, but yeah. Sun is back up, right? Again, slightly cringe. But we'll have to deal with it. and we can deal with it because we just healed like 800 HP in one hit over there, as you can see. All right, and that 2 more horn leeches probably do it, if not a moonblast here. Right, that's definitely enough. And look at this thing, 1.3k damage on a thunder punch. Goodbye. All right, almost 5k damage. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I really like the Lieutenant Surgeon in this team comp, just because of like the extra heals that he gets every sync. Like, and he could also do some like okay-ish chip damage, even though it's like 1,000 damage per hit or whatever. But like for a team that has really low damage output, right? Because I mean, none of these are like strikers. It's, I would say, very well appreciated from the extra damage with the Sandstorm. Like, our damage per turn's not like that bad. It's what we're getting, like, what, 3k from Xerneas, 1k from the Lieutenant Surge, another k, you know, 1,000 from Ace Roll Sandstorm damage. Okay, that's still really bad. But we won! We finished the job. But yeah, good stuff here, I'd say overall, right? So, yeah. Not super hard, but yeah. Anyways, that's it for this one. I guess hope you guys are. I'm gonna guys in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video. Subscribe to our channel for some more PoMa content. I'll see you guys in the next one.